As part of our stories theme, each week we've asked a different member of our congregation to share their story. Today, we're going to hear from Tim.
So me and my friend were in Bali a few years ago on holiday. We were jumping around in the sea, jumping through the waves, just having lots of fun, enjoying the sun. And then suddenly the waves just kind of picked up a lot, and we were getting dragged under them. And it started from a place of having lots of fun to being pretty scary pretty quickly. And we were just kind of fighting the waves, trying to get back to shore. I remember just getting dragged under, tossed around by the sea, and just really swimming my hardest, trying to get back to shore, and trying to keep my head above water. And that was kind of what I felt my life was a bit like before I started living day to day for God. It was me just trying to have a good time, living for myself, being the person I wanted to be, being the person I thought people wanted me to be, and not really thinking too much about God other than on a Sunday when I'd go to church. And it was tough. Like, people say you have to be a certain person, people expect certain things, and we carry that all on our shoulders. And sometimes it's just trying to fight against the waves. Sometimes we're just trying to struggle to keep our head above the water. And that was basically a bit what life was a bit like before I started living for Jesus. So I was kind of in the waves. Back to the story. I was in the waves, really fighting against them, trying to stay afloat, and just running out of energy. The waves came over and over and over. I would get above the surface and turn around, and there would be a massive wave. I remember even like holding my head so I wouldn't feel the full brunt of the wave against my head. And I was just getting thrown around, and remember being it was just quite still after this wave had hit, and I've been tossed around, and it was just dark. I just completely ran out of energy. Being in a completely helpless position and shouting for help is really terrifying. And in that moment, I just thought of my family. I thought of ridiculous news headlines saying British boy dies in Bali. And then I prayed. I said, "Please, God, just get me back to shore." And then my feet hit the ground. I was facing the shore, where before the sea was way over my head, it was just waist height. And I looked behind me, and it was just flat sea. So I just walked back to shore quite slowly and collapsed on the beach. And that's basically what Jesus does in our lives. We cry out to him, and he answers us because he loves us so much. And even though, even after that, there's times in my life I try and go back into the sea. God's just like, no, you stay on the shore. And yeah, his love for us is just insane. I remember getting prayed for one time and being filled with the Holy Spirit, and just experiencing God's love really quite vividly, and just coming away from that thinking, like, how can I possibly live any other way? And that's what Jesus does. We cry out to him, and he saves us. And kind of life, living for Jesus every day, or kind of trying to follow him, it's like being on that beach, being sure-footed, having a foundation. He takes all that weight off your shoulders. Jesus says, "Come to me, all who are weary, and you'll find rest." And that's so true. All that expectation is gone, and he just fills you with joy, and contentment and peace.